Hi everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time at my channel, I'm Rebecca Taylor, author of the women's fiction title Her Perfect Life, which released in 2020, and the soon-to-be published The Secret Next Door, which will be available October of 2021. So if you watched my last video, I was talking about goal setting, or my personal goal setting for 2021, and I am very excited about the big goals that I have set out there into the universe for myself for this year. But I had a big shift, or sort of a big personal epiphany this year, or at the end of 2020, with regards to this aspect of breaking these larger goals down into daily actionable items which will lead you there. And it's funny because, of course, people talk, oh, habits all the time. And I don't know why all of a sudden it just dialed in for me. Sometimes you're just ready for the messaging. Sometimes it's several different things that kind of come together so that it clicks and makes sense. But this was, I have to say, it was kind of a real aha moment for me, even though I've listened to people talk about habits and habit trackers, and I think I just always sort of glossed over it, or didn't really see what the value was there. I don't know why it seems like it's kind of taking me such a long time to kind of marry these concepts together, but boy am I glad that I have. And so I want to just sort of say that a lot of this kind of newfound learning and information has come to me primarily through two books, and one of them I read it in a day. I blew through it. I'm a big fan of Jen Sincero's Badass books. I've read them several times. I just find them very inspiring. I enjoy her voice and the way she explains things. And so she recently released Badass Habits. I believe it was at the beginning of December of 2020. So I blew through that book. And then in there, she spoke about a book, and that's Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, I'm a big fan of Jen Sincero, but if you're going to read one or the other of these books, you should read Atomic Habits. I will tell you that it was sort of game-changing for me with regards to thinking about, why maybe in some areas of my life I've been a little stuck, or I haven't moved forward. And, I set goals every year, and I make progress, and I've always made kind of steady progress throughout my life, and particularly with regards to my writing career. But just sort of feel like I've never really kind of gotten over that hump. There's these very tiny sort of baby steps all the time. And I really, after reading this book, I have to say, I really feel like it just sort of held a mirror up to me and really showed me that, if these are the things I want to achieve, then I'm going to have to start spending my days in a significantly different way. And that I have a lot of really not great habits, or habits that are not serving me with regards to moving me in the direction that I would like to move in my life. And it's really very empowering. And it's funny because I don't feel bad about any of those things. I certainly recognize them for what they are. A little bit of his laziness, a little bit of his complacency, a lot of it is I don't feel like it right now. And I have to say that I really do think that that is a huge factor in anybody's existence with regards to achieving your goals and dreams in life, kind of thing. So and another thought that I had recently, and I'll share with you what my daily habits are that I have set for myself, and some of them I have been working on in December, and then how I'm kind of adding in new ones as I roll into January. But it was interesting, if you're a writer, and you're probably familiar, particularly if you write romance or thrillers, or if you're a reader and you enjoy those genres, Nora Roberts is a huge inspiration in regards to her work ethic. As a writer, she has on her own written, I think it's well over 250 books over her life. And when you read anything about her and her practice, she talks a lot about discipline and desire, and she had another D, I think it's drive. And And so I think sometimes for a long time I thought, oh, I'm just not disciplined. I'm not disciplined. I waste a lot of time. I spend a lot of time doing things that are not helpful or moving me in my direction. And I was really concerned about, do I just have what it takes with regards to the work ethic to get this done? And I think it was because I got hung up on that discipline aspect of her messaging and the writing. And it was really after I read this Atomic Habits by James Clear that I understood it wasn't so much, and I can't obviously speak for Nora Roberts, but one thing that occurred to me that is most likely the case for her is that she has amazing daily habits, and there is no negotiating with them, and they're just daily habits that she has built up over years and decades, and this is how she lives her life day in and day out. Now, I have no desire to write, nor could I, 250 books in the amount of time that I have left in my life, but there is, for me, something to take away from that. Like, I can certainly, one thing I would like to accomplish this year is, instead of writing one book, write 2 books this year, and that's a big jump for me. And I think the only way that happens is by adapting this idea of your daily habits have to be in alignment with what some of your long-term goals are. So this feels powerful to me because the idea of concentrating on daily habits feels actionable. It feels doable. In the past, I think I've said, I'd like to write a book this year. I would like to lose weight this year. I would like to, run 5 miles a day this year. And, they're these sort of ambiguous goals in that there was no plan that I had with regards to implementing them or breaking them down in terms of, okay, great, so what does this make your day look like? How do you achieve these? What are you doing day in and day out to make this happen? And are you doing that? Are you sticking to it? Are you doing what you said you would do? So I think, with regards to those sort of overwhelming statements that can be sort of vaguely put down, whether you write them or say them to yourself, or you just kind of tell your best friend, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I think that they can be easy to blow off because we are not coming up with a plan with regards to integrating them into our day-to-day existence, and we're not holding ourselves accountable to whether or not it's actually happening. So that's what's changing for me this year, and I mentioned this a bit in my goals, my 2021 goals video that I did before. I am going to be focusing on changing my daily habits. Let's talk a little bit. What are the habits that I have set out for myself? So of course, I've had to create something that would exist inside my A5 planner, because as we discussed in an earlier video, I am structuring, I am tracking, I am keeping sort of every aspect that I need to within my A5 planner now that I've kind of gotten on board with how to customize it and how to really make it work for me. I find that every time I discover, oh, I need a new tool, I need a new tracker, I need something to help me be creative in this way, I go into Canva, which is an amazing, easy to use program, by the way, and I create whatever it is I needed. And so I realized I need a habit tracker. So let's take a look at that. One thing that I figured out with regards to setting these daily habits and aligning them with the larger goals that I have for 2021 is that it's a mixture of, yes, things that I need to do for my writing career, but a lot of it is about my personal health and well-being, and that was really sort of the primary foundation from which every other aspect of my life and career would sprout from. And so a lot of my daily habits are going to have to do with improving my health and wellness so that I am in an optimal sort of space to perform, to show up every day, to sit at the desk, to be creative, to have the energy and the wherewithal to get the words down, to write that first book from January to June, and hopefully that second book from July to December, and just be really creative and productive in a way that, or I guess at a level that I haven't done before, you know, a consistency that I haven't done before. So right now, and I know this is going to sound like a lot, but I want you to know I'm working on transitioning into these habits, and some of them I've already adapted, and other ones are ones that I want to, you know, pick up on more in January, and some of them maybe even into February. And you know, the very first one that I have on my list, and it is also the one that I actually already started. I started it in December of 2020, and that is I'm giving up alcohol. So this is kind of a big one, because I love my wine. You know, I love to have a glass of wine, you know, here or there. It's a big part of, like, when my girlfriends and I hang out, we're drinking wine. But I definitely know, like, if I think about the consumption that I've had, you know, at 45 versus even 25 and 35, it's a lot more. And particularly this last year, I think, you know, many of us have probably been overindulging with the wine or the beer throughout 2020. So that was one thing that I noticed was just really impacting my ability to get good sleep, my ability to feel energized and awake in the morning, you know, because I found even if I'm having one glass of wine, I am like having a hard time falling asleep, or I'll wake up in the middle of the night and have a horrible time trying to get back to sleep. So then, of course, what's the result of that? I'm waking up in the morning, I'm, you know, tired and sluggish, and I just have no energy for anything. So that's when I started in December. I am actually now, I think coming up this weekend will be 4 weeks since my last glass of wine. And I have to tell you, what they say is true. I sleep better, I have more energy, I just feel more sharp and alert, and I really feel like this was a big one. I'm glad I started it in December so that I have a lot of this behavioral momentum behind it. I've got my 21 days in, as they say. It takes, you know, they say a lot of different days, but, you know, one you hear a lot is it takes 21 days to create a new habit or to give up, you know, a habit that's not working for you. And so that was a big one. We're well on our way, and that's just one I would like to keep consistently throughout 2021. So no alcohol. The other one's obviously daily writing habit. I would like to ease into giving up sugar again. So I've started with I've been laying off all the chocolate and cookies and cakes and things like that I have been gobbling up all through, well, basically since Halloween. And so that obvious processed sugar, I have been able to kind of step away from that. I'll work on bread through January. I do love bread, but I tell you, it kind of hates my body these days. And so I'm gonna work on letting go of bread. Exercise. Now I'm not need to go out and run a marathon every day or whatever, but I have a very easy 2-mile loop in my neighborhood that I love to jog. I don't jog fast, but it definitely is enough just to kind of keep me moving and getting me out there. So exercise, daily exercise is one of them. I have given up coffee and I've gone to just tea in the morning. Now this one I'm only about a week into, but I actually find it's not hard for me to give up coffee. It kind of upsets my stomach anyway, and so I prefer drinking black tea with a little bit of milk. Now having said that, dairy is the other thing I would like to sort of get away from. This one might be a little bit harder because I do like to have a bit of milk in my tea, and I do love my cheeses. So that we'll see on that one. I'll do a monthly update of my habit tracking and just kind of keep you in the loop with regards to how successful have I been with all of these. I would like to get in the habit of making my bed every day. Right now it's maybe 20% of the time, and I just feel like when my bed is made, sort of all is maybe starting right with the world. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it just seems like kind of like productivity, focus, wellness, kind of all can stem from this. Like every time I walk through my bedroom, at least I can say, well, at least I got my bed made today. It seems like a very basic thing. So I'm committing to making my bed every single day. I would like to improve my meditation routine. That one's going to need a lot of work. This is something maybe I do once a month, once every 2 months. So I would like to improve that. Daily stretching, and let's just face it, that has to happen. This body is getting tight and not very flexible, and we're just every morning I wake up stiff as a board. So we're gonna work on flexibility. I would like to increase my just daily gratitudes, you know, in terms of really, I don't know if I'm going to turn this into journaling or just kind of something that I say to myself or out loud, but just kind of going through this list of everything in my life that I'm already grateful for, things that are already going well. A daily flossing. Okay, so I'm really great after I go to the dentist and I get like the lecture, and then I'll like stay up with a good flossing routine for probably a month, and then for the next 5 months it's like, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, and I'm gonna commit to daily flossing, and I'm gonna track it with my habit tracker and see if that helps me keep it going. And then the other one, this is a bad habit I have of, so I'm terrible about putting my clothes away. So whether they're ones that I've just gotten out of the washing machine, or, you know, something that I've worn for the day that I'm not necessarily going to dry clean, you know, every single time I wear it, and hanging it back up, or, you know, putting things away. And so then they just seem to kind of accumulate in my bedroom. And it really does just create this sense of clutter, and it's a habit I would like to change. And so I'm going to commit to daily making sure that all my clothes are put away in my room. And I think I'm the only person in my house that has this bad habit. Like everybody else seems like they're really on it, but I just seem to, you know, have developed a bad habit of not putting my clothes away. And so I'm going to work on that too. Now, this habit tracker I created, let me see if I'll show it to you. This would be better if I was doing a flat lay video, but I'm probably not gonna do that right now. So this is the habit tracker I created, and you can see up here is the ability, you know, just to circle the month, and then for each habit, these are the days of the months up here. I will just color in. Did I write that day? Did I not have alcohol that day? Did I not have sugar that day? And just color that in. But I've also left this open at the bottom so that I could add even more daily habits if I want to on there, and we'll see, because even the ones that I have on here now, I'm gonna try to tackle them a bit at a time, or as, you know, one seems to have momentum, like right now, the not drinking alcohol has momentum, so I was ready to kind of move into another high ticket item that I thought, and that's the sugar. The next one will be the bread. And of course, starting tomorrow is January 1st, and I would like to start in back again with the daily writing so that I can sort of be on track without, you know, having to write too many words at any one time to have that next book draft completed by June of 21. So I'm treating these daily habits as the building blocks, or the objectives, really the sort of objective plan, in order to put me on track to the goals that I have set for myself for 2021. So I'm excited. This feels very doable. It doesn't feel overwhelming at all. It's kind of fun to think about, you know, coloring in these squares every day. You know, did I do it? Did I not do it? And just really working to keep myself on track with it. And we'll see what else gets added, if anything. I had mentioned in my other video that I was also kind of thinking about, you know, there's some things that need to be looked at on a weekly level, on a monthly level, and I might eventually kind of shift into that. But I think, you know, right now, maybe for Q1, for quarter one, I'm just going to focus on these daily habits for now, and then maybe, you know, if I can keep up with it and be successful with tracking these daily habits, then shift into also looking at, you know, what can I add with regards to things that have to be done weekly, what are some things that need to be done on a monthly basis, and incorporate that into it. But this is I think enough of a change for now, particularly with the promises I'm making myself on a daily level. So this is how I plan to attack 21. And so I hope this was helpful for you. Again, that daily habit tracker I just created myself on Canva. It took me maybe, you know, half hour to do it, and I was able to easily incorporate it into my A5 planner. So there is that. I want to thank you for watching my video today. There will be more planning and goal setting videos in the future. Thank you for spending your time here today.